Hi, welcome back. In the previous episode, we learned how to transfer any particular time into eight numbers. At least you should know that there's some particular way that you can transfer a time into eight numbers. And this episode, I'll show you how to read this eight number, how to read a life code. And we read it in four ways. Uh, the self code, 10 characters, other agents, and the notes. Within the four ways, the self code and 10 characters are the fundamental, and these two are for adding details. Uh, we, I'm, I'm not going to show you other agents and the nodes because we are not learning fortune tell. We are just learning the structure of fortune tell in order to prove my point. Okay, believe it or not, all fortune telling theory are based on two basic concepts. You'll be surprised by how much can be deducted from the two simplest rules. The first one is yin and yang. Yin and yang are the two charges or sexes of things, as we know, as most of us may know. Yin is the opposite of yang, and yang is the opposite of yin, and that's it, simple like that. And since yin and yang don't make any sense in English and sound familiar, so I'll use positive and negative in the book. So if I say positive or negative, that means yin and yang property. The other rule is the five element. The five elements are wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. As lots of us may know, the relations are wood grows fire, fire grows earth, earth grows metal, metal grows water, and water grows wood. And the other set of rule is wood overcomes earth, earth overcomes water, water overcomes fire, fire overcomes metal, and metal overcomes wood. So there are two sets of rules. There's a circle of generating and a circle of overcoming between these five. And that's it. That's the two basic concepts. All the other things in the fortune telling are deducted by these two. So the first step of reading a fortune line of life code is to find the self code, which is the decimal date code. So uh, finding the self code is as easy as one step. How to find it? It is the decimal date code. In other words, it is the E position. It is the third number from the left in the top row. And based on the self code, you should make the following prediction about the person's personality. For example, because uh, the elemental and the yin yang property of the self code. Property 1 is positive wood, therefore, people with self code 1 would be like this, and property of 2 is negative wood, and which would make people like this, and 3 is positive fire, make people like this, and 4 is negative fire, 5 is positive earth, 6 is negative earth, and 7 is positive metal, and 8 is negative metal, and 9 and 10 are water, and 9 is positive water, and 10 is negative water. And based on their property, we can make some prediction. So finding the self code is as easy as one step. You just find the decimal date. Is it decimal? Is it the date in the date column? And that is your self code, and you can make a prediction accordingly. You can use it to give the basic prediction. The accuracy of that is guaranteed, just may not be comprehensive. And up in the future, you may learn some complex tricks, but the property of self code will be still the first thing you should mention about people because it is the base of all fortune telling theory. And let's go forward if you understand so far. The property of the codes are something we need to memorize. As I just showed you, 1 and 2 are wood, 3 and 4 are fire, 5 and 6 are earth, 7 and 8 are metal, 9 and 10 are water. Odd numbers are positive and even codes are negative. For example, 1 is positive wood because it is wood and is odd. 2 is negative because it is even number. And I remember like this. I remembered it like this because now I don't have to use ways to remember. It's just remember. Because the order is wood growth fire, fire growth earth, earth growth metal, and metal growth water. So it starts with wood and following the generating circle. What about the zodiac codes? These are the property of zodiac codes. 1 is positive water, 2 is negative earth, 3 is positive wood, 4 is negative wood, 5 is positive earth, 6 is negative fire, 7 is positive fire, 8 is negative earth, 9 is positive metal, 10 is negative metal, 11 is positive earth, and 12 is negative water. If I say different than it shows on the screen, then go with the screen because I didn't know that sometimes I can't control my mouth. I say the wrong thing without even notice. But when I was writing it, I was writing with cautious. Actually, it looks like a math that very hard to remember. But there's a way to remember it. But if I introduce the way, it will look even more complex. I'll introduce it after you become very good. But now I suggest you to memorize it in the hard way. So and like zodiac codes are not as easy as decimal code. And like the decimal code, zodiac codes usually have this. Usually, that means not all of them have the second and the third property. Some zodiac code have one property, some have two, some have three. And the list above is the first properties of the zodiac codes, also called the main property. Second and third property are called residue property or the hidden property, and this is the list. 1 is 100% positive water and has no hidden property. 2 is negative earth and it also contains negative water and negative metal. 3 is positive wood and it also contains positive fire and positive earth. 4 is 100% negative wood. That means it has no residue or hidden property. 5 is positive earth and also contains negative wood and negative water. 6 is a negative fire, also contains positive metal and positive earth. 7 is a positive fire, also contains negative earth. 8 is negative earth, also contains negative wood and negative fire. 9 is positive metal, also contains positive earth and positive water. 10 is 100% of negative metal. 11 is positive earth, also contains negative metal and negative fire. 12 is negative water and also contains positive wood. So it is even harder to remember because we need to remember the hidden property. And that's not all. In the practical use, the main property of the next four codes need to be used reversely, 1 and 12 and 6 and 7. So you can see here, 1 is 100% positive water, but in the practical use, 1 is 100% negative water, and 12 is also reversed. Here I write down negative water, but when we are using it, we use it as a positive water. And so is 6 and 7. 6 is negative fire, but we should remember it as positive fire. 7 is positive fire, and when we use it to give fortune tell, it is negative fire. So I think I made it complex. I should just show you 1 is 100% negative water, so I don't have to add this paragraph. But I just want to show you everything in the original theory, which is why I put it down like this. The elemental property, oh, that's common. Skip. So, as we know, life codes are 8 numbers. We have learned how to interpret the self code, which is one of the 8 numbers. And in order to read the other 7 codes, we need to learn about what I have mentioned, the 10 characters. So what is the 10 characters? We know the 5 elements generate and overcome each other as a circle. And so there are 5 possible relations between one element and another. So so let's say as one element, no matter which one, there are 5 possible relations between this element and the other element. The one I generate, the one generates me, the one I overcome, the one overcomes me, and the one same as me. I say me, that means as the element. For example, as wood, then wood is me. Fire is the one I generate. Water is one generates me. Metal is the one overcomes me. Earth is the one I overcome, and the wood is the one same as me. And so is the other element. They all have 5 possible relations between the element and the other one. And we combine that thing with yin-yang properties. So each code has 10 possible relations with another code. For example, and the code that generates the self code with the same charge is called L. For example, if one self code is 2, the property of 2 is negative wood, as I have showed you. According to the 5 elements interreaction circle, wood is generated by water. And we have 2 water, positive water which is 9 and negative water which is 10. And which one is the L of 2? The answer is 10 because 2 is negative and 10 is also negative. L means generate me with the same charge. So similarly, generates me, the code that generates the self code with the opposite charge, that means yin to yang or yang to yin, is called the guardian. The code that overcomes the self code with the same charge is called slaughter. For example, as wood. As wood, the slaughter is metal with the same charge. For example, 2 slaughter is 8, because 2 is negative, 8 is negative. They are both even. And 1 slaughter is 7, because 7 is a positive metal and 1 is positive metal. That's a decimal code. If we go for the duodecimal code, 2, which is the self code, that's decimal, that's negative wood. The slaughter will be 10 because the duodecimal 10 because duodecimal 10 is negative metal that which serve as the slaughter of negative wood. The code that overcomes the self code with the opposite charge is called the judge. That means, because, for example, fire. What overcomes fire? That's water. And as a fire, for example, 4 is negative fire. Judge of a negative fire would be positive water, which is decimal 9 or duodecimal 12. The code that generates by the self code with the same charge called the gourmet. Same charge means yin to yin or yang to yang. For example, the wood's gourmet is a fire with the same charge. And the code generates by the self code with the opposite charge is called ripple. And the woods and the fire to and woods generates fire with the opposite charge, and the fire is the wood's ripple. For example, if the wood is negative 2, and the fire is a positive, which is 3. That means if 2 meets 3, 3 is 2's ripple. The code that is overcome by the self code with the same charge is called gambler. For example, as wood, wood overcomes earth with the same charge. If the positive wood as a positive wood, the gambler will be positive earth. And the code that is overcome by the soft code with the opposite charge is called a collector. For example, as wood, positive wood's collector is negative earth. Negative wood's collector is a positive earth. The code that has the same property and the same charge with the soft code is called a comrade. That's easy. Same property, same charge. That's the same code, decimal. For example, 1 is 1. 1's comrade is 1. 2's comrade is 2. 3's comrade is 3. But if we want to see the dual decimal, the soft code 1 is positive wood, then the positive wood of a dual decimal code is 3. And the dual decimal negative wood is 4. So 2, the soft code 2's comrade is dual decimal 4. The code that has the same property and the opposite charge with the soft code is called a pirate. For example, 1's pirate is 2 because 1 is positive wood, 2 is negative wood. 3's pirate is 4. 4's pirate is 3 because they are both fire. And 1 is positive and 1 is 3. One of them is positive and one of them is negative. Okay, let me based on the characters you have, you can give the prediction of person's personality. For example, if you have a comrade, comrade is the code. Same to me without love. Without love, that means same sex. Same sex means yin to yin and yang to yang because yin and yang attract each other. That's called with love. For example, the comrade of 1 is 1, the comrade of 2 is 2, the comrade of 3 is 3. That's all decimal. People, if you have comrade, you are self-respect, independent, competitive, persistent, and determined. And when we give a fortune telling, there are two ways to do it. When comrade as favor, you should describe this character in a good way, such as brave but not aggressive, resolute, and disguised. Don't ask improper requirement, good endurance, able to overcome the obstacle and achieve their goals. That's what it means, determined and good endurance. Pay attention on inner beauty, then appearance, and they don't have a lot of friends, but and they keep a distance with them, but their friendship are sincere, firm, and constant, and they value equality very much. That's the good way to describe comrade. And the bad way is antisocial, stubborn, decide and act alone. That means antisocial, and willing to listen, communicate, share, cooperate, compromise, or please other people. And they are loners. They may give praise verbally. They don't willing to accept other people's achievement, and they don't want to please other people, which the result is hard to get promotion. That's because they value equality very much. And pirate, this is how to describe pirate. Pirate is outgoing, hasty, aggressive, and generous, like to fight for things. When it serves as favor, we describe it as in a good way, influential, heroic, energetic, like to give active help, like to sacrifice their own interests for the sake of others. Therefore, very good at making friends and playing the leader role. Have a strong personality, have very good ambition, always high spirit. That's energetic, another way to say. And resourceful, able to cope with a fierce competition. And the bad thing about pirate is they are cocky, greedy, reckless, eager to win, but too reckless, and impatient and able to control their tempers. When they go mad, it is totally unreasonable. Make friends quick, lose friends quick. And they're always self-conflict inside of them. Sometimes they are hot-hearted, like to help. Sometimes they are mean. The closer you are with them, the cooler and meaner they treat you. And when same set, same charge, and different charge doesn't matter. We call comrade and pirate jointly called strength. Strength means another code with the same elemental property as the self code, and regardless the charge or the yin-yang property. For example, if you are wood, your strength is wood. If you are fire, the strength is fire. If you're earth, your strength is earth. I don't say positive and negative because if we say strength, that means same sex or different sex doesn't matter. And now is owl. Owl is another code generates me with the same sex with no love. Owl will make people hate noise, like to think alone. When it serves favor, the good thing about it is keen, shrewd, alert, very creative in understanding, thinking. People with owl as a favor are good at observing details and forecasting results, and usually have a unique point of view or unusual skills. And when owl serves as foe, the bad thing about it is antisocial, cold, spectacle, and half-hearted. That means they often fail to carry through when they are doing things, because they always want to take the shortcuts, and they are self-concerned. They don't want to do concern about other people. They take good care about themselves, but try to avoid doing things for others, and not even for their family members. And well, if they have to do things for others, they will mumble it through. And guardian is the opposite. Is the code generates me with the opposite charge, with love. That's owl is without love, guardian is with love. Owl and guardians are another code generates me. For example, if I'm wood, water is my owl or guardian. So guardian people are conservative, rational, and idealistic. When guardian serve as favor, it will make people humane, forgiving, merciful, reasonable, knowledgeable, simple, and decent, attach importance to virtue, reputations, and spiritual developments, something like that. When guardian serve as foe, the bad side of this character is naive, dependent, and realistic, inconsiderate, self-righteous, face-saving, something like that. And owl and guardian, they both of these characters jointly can be called as shield. Shield means the code that generates me, generates the self code, regardless the charge. For example, if I'm earth, my shield is fire. And if you want to see the charge, is that the same charge or different charge, then we can discriminate to owl or guardian. And then we come to gourmet. Gourmet is the code I generate with the same charge. Gourmet people, as the word sounds like, are good at cooking, chatting, and enjoy of life. When gourmet service favor will make people peaceful, tolerant, optimistic, hospitable, and fantastical. That means like to dream. Gourmet is a peaceful character. Gourmet people are good hosts, and because they don't get angry on other people. And gourmet people like to talk, but they don't like to argue. Sometimes it's hard to tell. Sometimes when people like to talk but not like to argue, we don't see that point. We see them like to argue. And when a gourmet serves as a foe, the bad thing about the gourmet is gourmet would make people daydreamers and talk big but not enough actions, lack of endurance for hardness, and feel fatigue or lonely easily, vulnerable to fatigue or loneliness. A lot of them are yes, they are easily to obsess with some hobbies. Moreover, gourmet is a peaceful character. We don't see them as lawbreaker, but actually they hate regulations. They hate when people giving them orders, telling them what to do. And rebel. Rebel is the opposite sex gourmet. It's the code I generates with love. Rebel people are proud, disobey, like to do things beyond people's expectations. When rebel serve as favor, it will show the good side, which is revolutionary, talented, smart, very good at talking, quick on learning new things. Gourmet people are very ambitious. They never feel satisfied with the status quo, and they don't think anything they can do, which is another way to say optimistic. And when rebel appear as foe, it will make people, too proud, look down upon other people, and jack of all trade and master of none. They are proud, but they don't have enough to be proud. People have a rebel as foe. They are not reasonably proud of their ability and like to use offensive words to other people. And gourmet and rebel is called talent. Talent means the element or the code is generated by the self code. For example, if I'm water, then my talent would be wood because water generates wood. And when we and consider yin and yang property, then we can discriminate gourmet or rebel. Gourmet is same sex, rebel is opposite sex. And then we come to gambler. Gambler is the code I overcome without love. For example, if I'm wood, my gambler would be earth. If I'm earth, my gambler would be water with the same sex. Gambler people are bored, lusty, and practical, yet easy to get along with. When this character gambler serve as favor in life code, the good thing about gambler, in other words, is social, generous, adventurous, skillful, informal. That's why I put it down here. It says easy to get along with, and sophisticated, good at managing things and seizing opportunities. Uh, in other words, they are very capable. When a gambler serves as foe, it will makes people wasteful. I mean, spend money too much, cheeky, braggy, something like that. Addictive to drug, alcohol, and sex, and flatter words. Gambler people are gamer. That's the it just show the bad side of the living in the world of temptation. And collector is I overcome with love. For example, if I'm a wood, my gambler or collector would be earth, and collector would be earth with the opposite sex with me with the self code. Collector people are very obsessed with to their belongings. When it serves favor, it will make people hardworking, handy, and very responsible to their families, and believe in honest work, despite the risk-taking behaviors. They cherish the value of money and don't like to use crooked ways to make money. So they like to make money with their hands. When a collector serves as foe, it will make people tight-fisted, uh, possessive to materials, and lack of spiritual pursuit. In comparison, gambler people has a vision to spend big and make more. Collector can't see through the immediate interest, so they often lose the better chance because they don't take risks. Uh, so I mentioned that gambler people they are pursuers of material interests, but they are able to let go everything. That's the difference between the same thing between a gambler and collector is they are both practical, very skillful, handy. But the difference between them is here. One has the vision to spend big and make more. That means, in other words, gambler, they can afford lose. They can they they have the courage to lose. And the collector people, they the reason they are holding tight to their money is they are more not able to accept losing, something like that. And gambler and collector, they jointly caught money because they are the element that I overcome as a self code. And slaughter. Slaughter is a code overcomes me without love. If I'm a wood, my slaughter will be metal with the same charge. Slaughter people are mostly war hawks. When slaughter serves as favor, it will make people resilient, disciplined, loyal, self-controlled, like to take on the strong and help the weak. And when the slaughter serves as favor, the person will have a dignified manner, letting others to fear and respect. Moreover, slaughter people have a sense of urgency, take action immediately. They dare to take immediate action to break away from conventions. And when situations, everything is chaotic, that is when they are at their best. And when slaughter serves as foe, it will make people destructive, hostile, vengeful, depressed, and tameable, easy to make enemy and hard to make friends. In one word to describe it is bad. They are bad. Slaughter is a fierce character. Oh, that's the word, fierce, and in a sullen way. So slaughter is violence in depressed ways, in a gloomy ways, instead of in a wild way. Although it is the character known for violence, it could also make people lack of nerves. If you have too much slaughter in your life code, you can be very nervous all the time. Judge is a code overcomes with love. For example, I mentioned that metal is the slaughter or judge of the wood. Judge is the opposite sex. If the metal and wood have the opposite sex, then the metal is the judge of the wood. Judge people are political materials, and slaughter people are war materials, military materials. When a judge serves as favor, the good side of judge will make people responsible, righteous, modest, objective, and respectful to respect group decision and moral values. Judge people are mostly fair and square and willing to serve. Therefore, in China, it is a symbol for higher social status. Maybe only in China because politics is different in every country, in every culture. And when judge serve as foe, it will make people indecisive, burdened, always following rules, self-based, and lack of courage to break the status quo. Judge is known as law-abiding characters, but when serve as foe, it would also make people disobey, disregard of law and disciplines. And these two, slaughter and judge, jointly called authority. What is authority? Authority is another element that overcomes the element as me. So every element have a slaughter. Every element have a authority. The authority is the element that overcomes me. Okay, and this is the table for the 10 characters. Because the relation you should remember, but if you cannot remember, just check the chart. And the number in the rows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 are self-code. The number in the left column, this column are the other code. For example, if I'm 1, the other code is 1. Decimally, that means it is the comrade. 2 to 1 is pirate. 1 to 3 is owl, because 1 is wood, 3 is fire. Wood would grow fire, and they are both odd, so they are so that's the same chart without love. That's owl. So that's a lot of information. If you can remember, just remember the construction of the mainframe of the concept of character. What is character? Character is the relation between the self code and another code. And because you have different character, then we can then you have a different personality. Based on the relation of the 5 elements, there are relations between the characters. The relations are strength overcomes money, money overcomes shield, shields overcomes talent, talent overcomes authority, and authority overcomes strength. That's a circle of the characters. And the generating circle is strength generates talent. Talent generates money. Money generates authority. Authority generates shield. And shield generates strength. You just remember that just like the five elements, there are relations between the characters too. And the other rule is same-sex reaction is more powerful than the opposite sex reaction. For example, talents overcomes authority. There are two talents, gourmet and rebel. Gourmet overcomes slaughter is harder than gourmet overcomes judge, because gourmet is same-sex reaction. Gourmet is without love is same-sex with a self-code. Slaughter is the same-sex with a self-code. So gourmet and slaughter must have same-sex. Same-sex reaction is harder than the opposite sex reaction. Therefore, gourmet overcomes slaughter is harder than gourmet overcomes judge. As the same as slaughter overcomes the self-code is harder than judge overcomes the self-code, because slaughter and the self-code have the same yin-yang property. Judge and the self-code has the opposite yin-yang property. This is just something for you to know. Doesn't for now doesn't have to doesn't require us to remember this in order to prove our point. To prove our point eventually, we have a long way to go to there. And this is how to do things. The character forms by the self-code and the frontline codes are frontline characters. The character formed by the self-code and the basal codes are basal characters. The character forms by the self-code and the hidden characters are the hidden character. By the self-code and the hidden codes are hidden properties are the hidden characters. For example, this self-code, this is ideal self-code because it looked very easy. In this life code, this is 8 numbers, right? The frontline characters are all comrade because they are all the same. 5, 5, 5, 5. This is the self-code. Because this is the date column, decimal date, that's the self-code. The other 3, this 5 to this is comrade, this 5 to this is comrade, this 5 to this is comrade. So we have comrade here, and comrade here. And so all the frontline characters are comrade. And the basal characters are all guardian because 7, they are all 7 here. 7 is negative fire. Fire, growth, earth, because 5, decimal 5 is positive earth, and negative fire, that's the guardian, that's the different sex reaction. So we got guardian, 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 and guardian. And the hidden character, the hidden property is not showing here because it is not used very much when we're doing fortune telling. The hidden property of 7 is negative earth. Just like I said, 7 contains negative earth. So the hidden character are all pirate because 5 decimal 5 is positive earth. Negative earth is the pirate to positive earth. By the way, this life code looks unrealistic, but it exists. It exists. This time is the noon of June 25th of 1978 is the noon. 7 hour is 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. and this is the date, the 7 hour of this date. Just bear in mind that some life code, they seems strange, but they exist. But not all life codes are existing. For example, in a very popular novel, ancient novel in China, the name of the title of the novel is All Men Are Brothers. One person claimed that his life code is 1 year column, 2 for month column, 3 for date column, and 4 for hour column. So he says my life code is 1 2 3 and 4. That is an impossible life code. Because if you have 1 here and 2 as your zodiac month code, then you can't have 2 here. You have 4 here. If you have 1 year, you're born in second month in the 2 month of a 1 year, you can't have a 2 month, you have a 4 month. The reason is because 1, right? We have 1 times 2, that's 2. Add the result of 2 minus 2. The result of 2 minus 2, this is 2, right? The result of 2 minus 2 is not 0. In fortune telling, if you got a 0 there, it comes back to 12. So we don't use 2 add 2. We don't use 2 add 2 add 0. We use 2 add 12. 2 add 12 is 14. 14 is equalized to 4 decimally. So you have 4 2 here. So that's one thing to remember is not all life code are existing. Second is there are lots of places that you can make mistakes. Just practice and find out where are the hard points in the calculation. And you must, let's move on, you must have noticed that there are 2 sides of every character. Just like a guy performed differently in different circumstances. The question is how to find out if the character serve as favor or foe. Sorry. This is how. The basic idea is balancing. Within the 10 characters, strength, shield are the strengthening characters. Talent, money, and authority are weakening characters. When the strengthening characters are too powerful, weakening characters serve as favor, and vice versa. So it's like divide all things into 2 groups. Strength, shield, and the self-code is one side. Talent, money, and authority is another side. If one side is strong, the other side serves favor. If the other side is strong, if the weakening characters are too powerful, strength and shield serve as favor. So when the strengthening character are too powerful, weakening characters serve as foe. And I read that. In other words, strength and shield will increase the power of a life code. Talent, money, and authority would decrease the power of a life code. So when a 8-numbered life code is overall strong, talent, money, and authority serve as favor. When a life code is overall weak, strength and shield serve as favor. Just like a person should eat more when they are too thin and eat less when they are too fat. So when they are too skinny, eating is good. When they are too fat, then losing weight is good, right? So this is how to decide if a code is overall strong or weak. Oh, that's I can compress that word. So how to decide a code's power? So first of all, the frontline codes are not as strong as the basal code. If we have the frontline code, the power is 60 or 6. We have the basal code, the power is 100 or 10. So the first concept is the basal code is stronger than the frontline code. The second concept is zodiac month is the strongest of all code. So if let's say this 7, it has this 7 is fire. This 7 is 100% fire. 7 is not 100% fire. This 7 has a power of this 7 has a 100 power. Power level is 100. Then this 7 has power level of 200. So two things to remember. Frontline codes power level 60. Basal codes power level 100. And the zodiac month double. The zodiac month code is 200. And the third things to remember is if the frontline code has no root. What it means has no root. For example, if a frontline code is 5, this frontline code is 5 and these are not 5, let's say. 5 is Earth, and there's no Earth at all in the basal line and the hidden line. they have Earth here and they have Earth here, then we said that this code have root. This code has root. And if this code has no root, if let's say this code is water and there is no water at all within the basal and the hidden line, so we say it has no root, then the power of this code would be cut in half. Then this code, the power level is 30. So three things in mind: 60, 100, 200 without root, 30. So, okay, where are we? And, okay, here. All friend line code count for 60 point. For example, 1 and 2 has 60 wood, 3 and 4 has 60 fire, 5 and 6 have 60 earth, 7 and 8, 60 metal, 9 and 10, 60 water. And if the code has no root, that means the element in the friend line codes is neither appeared in the basal line nor in the hidden line. Then we call it rootless or floating. A rootless code, the power of a rootless code will be deducted in half and count to 30. And basal line code count to 100. And this is how to distribute it if the basal line code has more than one property. If the basal line code has one property, then no question asked. 1, 4, and 8, 10, then all 100%. Then it counts for 100. And if it has three property, let's say 2, 3, and 5, so the order is 60, 30, and 10. And it has if a basal code has two property, let's say 7 and 12, 7 and 12, then the order will be 70 and 30. So why I show you the power level of all the code? Then you can calculate. You can calculate the power of each element, and once you have the exact power of each element, you can do the calculation to find out the strengthening force, the strength and shield, and the self code. If the strengthening character, if the strengthening element is stronger or the weakening element is stronger. So if you have the strengthening element stronger, then weakening character. If you have the weakening character in the front line, then you should describe it in the good way. And this is how to do a fortune telling. Here, where are we? Based on what we learned, we are able to give basic fortune tell. This is how to give fortune telling about a person's personality. First is the self code. First thing you should describe is the self code of the person and the frontline characters. We describe the frontline characters because they are people's obvious character, and the basal character represents people's unconscious mind. For example, if a person stays okay, I skip that. You don't need to describe basal or hidden characters to start. I mean, if you're not that good, you don't describe the basal character and hidden character, although they are actually stronger, because they are too deep hidden to be realized by the person. However, if a person's frontline character and basal character are very different, so you can mention that you appears so, but you actually are. For example, if a person's frontline characters are gambler or pirate, that means gambler or pirate are generous. But the main force of his basal code is owl, so the person appears as a social person, but he is actually a nerd, indoors man. He doesn't like to communicate. So what that means? That means this is how to give a fortune telling. Once you have a life goal, let's use the one of the examples. Where can I have examples? For example, I just saw an example somewhere. Charlie's Throne. This is an example. How do we do the fortune telling? First, we describe her life self code. Then we describe her frontline characters based on if it serves as favor, we describe it in a good way. If it serves as foe, we describe it in a bad way. And that's it. If you want to be correct, because if you show everything within the eight code and within the eight numbers, then people would say, you shot you fired too many times. And the way I'm showing you self code and the frontline characters is like it is not comprehensive. It would just make people agree with you because you just fired one shot and you hit the target. So I won't going to show you. This is note. Note is how to give a detailed fortune telling. For example, when you have a 5 and 11 zodiacally and next to each other, and the chief is an other agent. That means you make illegal money or deal with criminals. That's how. So you know that this is how fortune tellers make detailed fortune telling. But in order to make a basic prediction about a person's personality, it is the self code and the self code and the frontline characters. You don't have to say too much about it because if you give fortune telling like that, people will always agree with you because that's the most obvious thing about a person. And this is there are a lot of notes here. See how much note is here. See how much note, how many notes can be learned. This is the other agent. About note, something I want to say. Note is not something you remember in a hard way. After you become very good, for example, me, I never remember them. I never recite it, but I remember because there are something. Check the chart. Well, there are some rules within the note. For example, guardian service favor. That means mother is helpful. Gambler service favor. That means father is helpful. Why is that? Because guardian represents mother and gambler represents father. Let me get to that part first. Okay, so authority suppress the self code, which indicates the self code owner because the self code represents me. So something suppress me, which is why it represents boss, authority, police, government, enemy, order, regulation, status, politics.